I'm still gonna laugh, and I don't care how long it takes me. Long, you're gonna cooperate, because spirit dominates matter. That's all there is to it. Good morning, everyone. Ah. I hope I'm not overdoing it like the other person says. And people kind of, people are funny, funny. I get a charge every time. All right, we're gonna go into Venus in Pisces, part 2. Let's get the music ready. Let the music play. People get away. Let the music play. People get away. It's something like that. That was from the 80s, There we got the music. Da 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 da. Boop 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 boop. Tito Rodriguez. You hear it? The timbales. You all know me. Ah. Okay. Let's jump right in. Venus in Pisces, part 2. Here, again, we're dealing with, oh, it's nice and loud, too. I mentioned that whole trajectory experience of exhibit A, B, and C, remember, in part 1? Because it leads to what I have to say in Venus in Pisces, part 2. Okay. Venus in Pisces, women and men, but more particularly the women. If you are a woman and you are born with Venus in Pisces, every single person that you have met, let's talk about dudes, every single motherfucker that you've met from age 7 to the present age, which is probably in your 20s, no? Every single man, young man, boy, any man or any human that has a penis, and that's your father, your brothers, your professors, your boyfriends, your boyfriend's friends, your boyfriend's brothers, the bum on the street, the store clerk down the road, and your local pharmacist, and even your doctor. And, with Pisces, you're moved and swayed in all kinds of currents. Remember, it is the two fishes moving in opposite directions. So there's a lot of paradoxical energy here, quixotic behavior, contradictory natures. I love it. Pisces is my opposite. Virgo. Pisces is always happy, cheerful, bubbly. When she's by herself, she experiences Alice in Wonderland. The Venus in Pisces woman experiences a winter wonderland, an interlude, a cotillion. It's magical, mystical, ethereal, antithetical, illusionary, sensual and sexual, and blissfully antithetical. Venus in Pisces. It is the most mysterious sign in the zodiac, full of beauty, mystery, but also eternal suffering. For Pisces represents the sign of sorrow. People rejoice at the incumbency of a great king. But when there's a monarch or a dictator, the people mourn. It is stuff that poetry and music is written about. It's allegorical. So understand that the Piscean experience, let alone having Venus, its exaltation in Pisces, makes you kind of like saint-like, martyr-like, where you give your life for the criminal, the beggar, the thief, the murderer, and the rapist. Pisces, like Jesus Christ, who heralded the Piscean age, shows selfless love and embracing even of the sinner. As Jesus died on the cross with Judas and the other two robbers that lay beside him on the cross, he forgave them as they died on the cross right along with him. And the hour of the tribunal. This is deep, deep Venus in Pisces. But let's move away from the esoteric. There's plenty of that in part 3. Let us discuss in more mundane terms, what does this mean to have Venus in Pisces? And how does this translate behaviorally in the context of the human personality and ego? And me. Oh, God. Tito Rodriguez, the balance is for you to just throw yourself out a window, throw yourself off a roof. Don't do that, though. Understand that when you are a woman and you have Venus in Pisces, you attract kindred spirits, kindred souls. When I mentioned in part 1 that Venus in Pisces symbolizes consolidation, I'm talking about consolidation of experiences, not only of a positive nature that it can then use, because when you go through many incarnations and you accumulate positive experiences and you take with you a lot of positive experiences from a multiplicity number of incarnations, that's going to elevate you to a very large level of spirituality that will make you very cosmic and will allow the shedding of the personality and the lower nature of the ego much more easily. I'm saying that with provided that all other things are equal, right? Other things being equal. The problem is that if there's karma and accumulated karma and consolidated karma, which there most probably will be with Venus and Pisces, then the journey back to God will not be very smooth. There'll be blockages, obstacles, and adversity, and unfinished business that may have to be mended. There may be experiences and past hurts and pains, slights to people that maybe you might need to go back and atone for before you can move on and have a clean slate to move on to another incarnation that has another set of different experiences. For that to occur, the you have to come to God without blemish, like the Bible talks about, and the Torah of the Jews, and even the Upanishads of India, and also the 5 pillars of faith when we're dealing with the doctrines of the Quran, when we're dealing with Islam. So many of the religions of the world talk about this exalted virtue through consolidation of experiences. And when we reach a certain peak or plateau, and where now there's no point of return, and now we have to merge back to the Creator. Do understand that there has to be a certain level of naivete, innocence that blissfully returns to the Creator for that to occur. And that doesn't just happen with Pisces. That happens with every single one of us as virgin spirits, as soul. We emerge from the Creator as virgin spirits, but we return to the Creator with a plethora of knowledge and experience that we will have never have learned or assimilated had we not left the divine spark of the Creator and dipped into material matter. And I had mentioned that we don't know why this process is necessary and what is the ultimate meaning behind going through the human experience. What is this going to serve us? How is this going to serve us and our fellow human being and instead of avatar, where there's a future where this could be used and applied? Would that happen in our solar system or would that happen in other star systems? Is this a school or a training ground? Like basic camp or advanced camp in military training. Roughneck! Hoo hoo! Is this what this is? And if it is, what are we training for? What are we training for? And these are questions that if you're not uh, up in the levels of initiation in the occult order, you're not going to have those answers. I myself cannot explain to you or give you an answer as to what is the ultimate goal and the altruistic direction that we are heading as a human species, because becoming more human is not what we're heading towards in Jacob's ladder. It is a journey back to God. But when we go back to God with what we have experienced, what are we going to do with that? That is still unknown. But we can have conjecture as to what it could be. I myself believe that we are going to multiply and rule other universes, right along with Jehovah and the other demiurgic gods and lesser gods like the Elohim. Our journey is to become gods, like the gods that are training us and seeing to our evolution. So Pisces is deep and contains a lot, and it doesn't allow room for much of the drama that concerns us in mundane matters. Pisces has a way of detaching psychologically and emotionally, kind of like Aquarius. But Aquarius does it in a very dispassionate way, whereas Pisces does it in a compassionate way to give a third or bird's eye view of the problem, where emotionally they can connect but not also be absorbed too much where it can affect them. Now, this is better said than done, and this is not real the norm. As you get older as a Pisces woman or Pisces man, you're able to be more of a channeler, more of a healer, and handle other people's transgressions and learn to heal other people. This doesn't happen overnight, and it's not something that you learn in a book. With the Venus in Pisces woman in particular, she has to learn through empirical experiences, and most of these experiences are going to be painful in nature because of the Christ-like forgiving nature of the Pisces woman or the Venus in Pisces person. Yes. Oh, man. So understand that the Venus in Pisces woman uh, has a level of naivete and a level of profound love to give that vibrates at a cosmic, spiritual, divine level. This is why she attracts losers, because she's here to heal them, transform them. The problem becomes that the Pisces woman identifies with these men and expect loyalty and love in return for her services of healing these people. And that never happens to the Pisces woman. Not the sun sign Pisces woman and not the Venus in Pisces woman. She is bound to almost always be betrayed and hurt by the men that she helped evolve. And this can be intimate relationships with men or non-intimate relationships with men. Because part of her gift is to balance the inhumanities within ourselves, projected upon nature, projected upon each other, And that's something that the Pisces woman, like a vacuum cleaner. The Pisces woman, or the Venus in Pisces woman, is like a vacuum cleaner. She vacuums the rugs and vacuums, and you don't know what's in that rug that's in there, but she absorbs it all. Or if you have a sponge and you throw a sponge in clear water, that's great. But if you throw a sponge in murky water or in dirty water, that sponge is going to absorb that water and it's going to affect her. So the Pisces woman, or the woman with Venus in Pisces, has what we call an emotional barometer. And an emotional barometer is like a gauge of sentient feelings. The problem is that the Venus in Pisces woman might not have a gauge in her emotional barometer and may feel pain and sorrow and joy and bliss for even the hardest of criminals who might ultimately betray her. They won't kill her, but they'll betray her because that's who they are. So when I talk about attracting losers, it sounds like a very harsh term to use. But and let me talk a little bit about losers that the Pisces woman or the Venus in Pisces attracts. These men are broken, wounded, especially if they're above age 30. If they're below age 30, they're just ignorant and may need the Pisces woman, or a woman with Venus in Pisces to kind of train them, rehabilitate them, and groom them. But then after that happens, these people might still end up betraying the Venus in Pisces woman. So in the end, it seems like she doesn't win. That's how it appears on the surface. But the Pisces woman, whether it's the sun sign or the Venus in Pisces, right along with the Virgo woman or the Venus in Virgo woman, because these are the opposite polarities of the sign, they are doing us a great favor. They are the dustbins, the mop, and the broom of the zodiac. And they're the ones that clean the house, clean the windows, clean the fireplace, wash them up, re-clean the floors, then rinse them up, and then wash them up, and then do another part of the house. The mundane and the specific. And the Virgo represents, along with Pisces, that woman in the kitchen that you never see. She's slaving, cooking for you. And when you throw parties, lavish parties, you eat this wonderful food, and you speak proudly of the food that you're eating, but you never give credit to the chef who cooks the food, who may be a black woman or someone of color or someone that may not be deemed worthy in society, that's actually doing the nourishment but is not getting the credit. So with Pisces, there's a lot of inequalities on a social level, but also on a spiritual level. And that happens because it is the point of weakness of the lack of spirituality or empathy or human concern that will spark us to move towards trying to develop those faculties and those virtues. But in order to develop them, we have to be made aware of the lack of virtue and the lack of dignity that we are projecting to others. And until we learn and realize that that kind of disrespect is a reflection of our own lack of self love or self worth, then there is no way that we can evolve towards helping each other. Because all of us have pain, all of us got issues, all of us got baggage, and all of us belong to the same human family. Venus in Pisces. The Venus in Pisces person, particularly the woman, wants to make peace with you, wants to heal you, and wants to bring out the best in you. But sometimes, and this is where the Venus in Pisces woman, along with the Sun in Pisces woman, may go wrong, is that part of that cleansing, part of that healing, part of that transmutation process has to involve a certain degree of conflict. Think about, for example, let's say you get a splinter in your finger. The splinter is too embedded in the skin. You can't take it out on your own. And if you do, it might break off and still have that part inside. What do you got to do? I've had splinters in my fingers, haven't you? I take a needle and I heat it up. I put some alcohol, right? or some Florida water. In fact, I just had some. Just had some. Hold on. Hold up. Okay. Right, you put some alcohol, some Florida water, like I'm about to do now. Right? Right? And then I take a needle and I try to take out the splinter. It might take me a while because I'm gonna have to tear off the skin around the splinter, and then take out the splinter. It might take you an hour or so to take the splinter out. It's a process, and that process is analogous of the Venus in Pisces trying to rehabilitate a person that may be bad or no good, a loser, and her spending time with that person to heal him, nurture him, give him what has been lacking in his life. She feels might be the answer that might make him a better person. And it's so heartfelt. But here's the thing, that never ends up being the case. That never seems to be the case with the Pisces woman or with the Venus in Pisces woman. Because, excuse me, what she's not understanding or realizing is that there may be a cause that is not related to the current conditions, but it may be related to a past life condition. If this person is not interested in helping you or is not interested in being helped, or after you help the person they betray you, then it goes deeper than what the situation calls for in the current life. This may be a person that you have known in other lifetimes that may have a vendetta against you or may have a contempt against you. That even they might not even know that themselves. And that's what leads to the complexity dynamic of a relationship. You know, the Venus in Pisces woman will always attract people, including losers, that she has encountered from other lifetimes. And then the encounter in this current lifetime can manifest in two ways. Either it needs to reach a point of resolution, a plateau, a consolidation, or it is the beginning of an experience with a virgin spirit, a virgin soul, that may need guidance by the Pisces woman or the Venus in Pisces woman, or vice versa. It becomes a symbiotic relationship. So understand that harshness bothers the Pisces woman. Wistfulness is almost a natural breathing, natural phenomenon in her. Being blissfully aware and blissfully naive is no different than being blissfully in love. It doesn't matter how the Venus in Pisces person approaches other areas of her life. There is always a romantic side to her. She might romanticize for suffering, romanticize difficulties, not because it's something to do, but it could be a defense mechanism on the part of the Venus in Pisces woman. She looks at men, the losers that I'm talking about, as stray dogs, stray cats that need healing and mending, like an animal. But what happens when you do that to an animal? He heals, or it heals, and then it leaves. Men are kind of the same way, baby. Venus in Pisces. Suitable for Pisces part two. So, this is how the Venus in Pisces woman repeatedly ends up making mistakes with the wrong person, keeps putting her love, her faith, her devotion with the wrong people. They easily hurt her, betray her, and she don't know why. I'm gonna tell you why, Mrs. Venus in Pisces or Sun in Pisces woman, because these are people. Oh, thank you. These are people that you've met from prior lifetimes, in which you have something to settle, a score to settle. Either they with you or you with them, and that is the process of atonement that doesn't come obviously to the personality, but the soul knows. Okay, so you have to understand that this is the situation. And no, we are done with part two. We're gonna have to go into part three.